Right, I'm going to show you how to make different details out of paper. So we're going to focus first of all on pockets. Then we're going to look at different frills. And these are the kind of embellishments we can add to garments. And the more we add, the more advanced our garments will become, because in a bit we're going to make our own paper garments. So these little things will go well in our development, and we can use them to show how whole thing we might work, discover if it does work, if we want to use it, and have a little play. So I've just tried a few here. You're going to have a go at these, and then you can also have a go at some of your own as well. Right, for the pocket, first of all, don't stitch it down like I have, otherwise it won't work. But there we go, I'll get into that in a minute. Right, what you're going to need, I've used matte paper for this because it's a good paper and it's not so thin that it rips. But you can have a play if you haven't got any paper maps. Have a play with normal paper or anything else you've got. I think books might rip easily, but have a go, see how it works in the sewing machine, because we're going to use a sewing machine for this. So, right, to do the pocket, you need a square, a strip, and a longer piece of paper. For your square, you're just going to fold it, kind of not actually fold to get a crease, but just hold it in a fold. And then you're just going to kind of cut it down and then round off the edges. And it gives a kind of cute little pocket type effect. So round like this, like so. You're then going to pleat both corners. So you're going to go fold this one in like so to create a fold. Yeah, so you're going to kind of fold that bit in like that, and then you just have to unruffle the paper a little bit, and then you're going to do the same on the other side. So you're going to bend it in, fold it over, just kind of manipulate your paper a little bit so it doesn't move as well as fabric, so it's a little bit harder to do. And then that creates your pocket shape. You're then going to attach that to your tab, and you're going to keep it in place. You're going to use sellotape. It'll do two things. One, hold it in place, and two, it's going to make it easier to sew with. So you first of all, just going to stick that onto there like so. So it'll look like this on the other side. Then trim off wherever you don't need your tab. So your tab should be in line with your fabric. So I'm just going to cut down here, and then I'll just cut down here. Okay, so at that point, I mean, you've got to have dinky hands to get in that pocket, haven't you? You're going to go to your sewing machine. So I'm not going to sew on mine, just I'm going to show you the setup of the machine. For it to sew on paper, okay, you need to have your stitch dial on the highest it will be. So stitch length, put it onto 4, okay, and make sure you got straight stitch. So for this machine, it's an A, and that you've got your normal foot on. So not the embroidery foot that's got a loop on, but the normal sewing machine foot, which looks, I can just get it off. So it's this one you want to have on. Yeah, that was the foot you want to sew with. And the reason we change the setting for a larger length is so that it doesn't rip the paper, because smaller stitches will just rip it. Yeah, so you want big stitches, and you're going to have to try and sew quite slow, because you only get one shot with paper, because you're going to make holes in the paper, which means you can't redo it. So you've got to do it first go round. Now, the first time I sewed my pocket, it moved. So what I decided to do before I sewed, so first of all, you've got to sew this bit here, and if you want a top stitch, sew this bit here. Okay, so sew those before you go onto the fabric you're going to sew it onto, or your paper you're going to sew it onto. So sew your tab first, not the sides, just both top and the joining bit there first of all. Once you've sewn those on, you're then going to stick it to paper. I found that works the best. Otherwise, I started sewing here, and before I got around here, it's done this. Now, normally you'd pin it, but obviously the pin is going to leave a mark in our paper, and we don't want that. So I found if you take sellotape fold it over and make this little kind of like a circle of sellotape and stick those into key places. So stick one on there to hold it in place. Well, actually, if you want to go use it though, if you want to actually get things in the pocket, don't stick it there. Then do another one. You've got the bottom. Here. So this will just hold your pocket in place. Now obviously technically you don't actually need to sew it, but we want to get marked for sewing, so we need to add some stitching to it. So if we then stick it into place, this holds it still while you sew, and I've found you get much better, a bit funny, much better results that way. Yeah, so maybe if you don't want it to, if you want it to work, don't stick the top bit obviously, and make sure obviously you get your hand into your pocket, always useful. So that's the pocket section. If we wanted to add pleats, and I've just, like me before, I've just added them onto the sides of this paper, just as a development, but again you can do however you want to. There's two kinds. One where you literally just pleat, and then next bit pleat, and then next one pleat. You need quite a long strip. If you're going to do the whole length, you'll need obviously double the amount the length of what you're going to. And then again, all you do is fold it over, place it down, get some sellotape to hold it in place, and then stick it down. That's one way of pleating. Another way is where you could fold kind of in one way, then in the other, like so. So you go in that way, and then in that way, and you kind of create more kind of so in that way, in this way, chunkier folds. So my piece of paper isn't that big, so you kind of almost need a bigger strip to do this, but it kind of works quite effective. So in that way, in that way, and you kind of make that kind of shape, so along the line. And then when you put it onto your paper, you want to try and stretch them out a bit, and this will make it pleat up. So again, it's a bit fiddly to do. You can see where if I just do this, then it'll kind of pleat out. Okay, so that is how you do that one there. So you can see I folded that way, fold that way, that way, that way, and then again I've just stuck it down and then I've sewn on top. Yeah, so they are the few things I want you to have a go at, because eventually you're going to design your own garment from paper, so we need to have tried lots of different techniques. Now if you can find any of your own, so I don't know, like bows, button stands, collars that you want to have a go at, try that. Okay, again, matte paper is fantastic to do it with. Newspaper is a big no-no, that will rip certainly, but you can try normal paper, normal printer paper, or card will probably be better options. Okay,